Today I want to address a question that many people began asking after a recent public case. After a Korean broadcaster experienced a sudden cardiac event during filming, people noticed a diagonal crease on his earlobe, often called Frank's sign, and asked a simple question: is this a warning sign of heart disease? Western medicine gives a restrained answer. There's an association, but it is not diagnostic. So the question becomes, if it is not a direct heart diagnosis, how does traditional Chinese medicine look at this? For teaching purposes, I will keep this discussion strictly case-based and limited to what is publicly observable. What drew attention was not only the earlobe crease. Looking at publicly available images over many years, three long-standing features are noticeable: a diagonal crease on the earlobe, persistent dark circles under the eyes, thinning of hair centered at the top of the head. These are not sudden changes. They develop slowly over time. And in Chinese medicine, time matters more than the event itself. In traditional Chinese medicine, we do not start from a heart event and then assume that the heart itself was the original problem. The first question is always, where did the long-term disequilibrium appear earliest? When the earlobe crease, dark circles, and the vertex hair thinning are considered together, they do not primarily point to the heart. They point first to chronic kidney level problem. In Chinese medicine, the kidney is not limited to an anatomical organ. It represents the body's deep reserve system, kidney essence, kidney yin, and the foundation of blood and fluids. When kidney essence is gradually depleted, the body's ability to generate and sustain nourishment declines. When kidney yin is insufficient, cooling, anchoring, and recovery functions weaken. Over years, this appears externally as dark circles reflecting long-term insufficiency of recovery, thinning hair at the vertex indicating that essence and blood can no longer nourish upward, and gradual structural changes in peripheral tissues such as the earlobe. These are not acute warning signs. They are records of time. It is fundamentally a temporal issue, not an immediate one. At this point, the issue is not terminology. It is system behavior. In a dynamic living whole person, the heart and the kidney form a vertical regulatory relationship. The heart resides above and governs activity, circulation, and immediate demand. The kidney resides below and governs storage, grounding, and long-term reserve. In a healthy system, there is continuous vertical coordination. Kidney water rises to anchor and nourish heart fare. Heart fare descends to activate and warm kidney function. This ongoing exchange maintains stability. Heart-kidney non-coordination does not mean a sudden disconnection. It describes a gradual failure of vertical regulation. When kidney yin and essence are insufficient, upward nourishment becomes inadequate. Heart activity loses anchoring. Functional demand remains high while support declines. The system can still function. In fact, it often compensates for a long time, but compensation is not equilibrium. When long-term reserves are no longer sufficient and vertical coordination can no longer be maintained, system disequilibrium tends to appear where functional demand is highest. In this case, that point is the heart. This does not mean the heart was the origin of the problem. It means the heart became the place where a long-standing loss of coordination could no longer be compensated. The cardiac event is the breaking point, not the root. Seen together, the arrow crease, the persistent dark circles, the vertex hair thinning, and the ventral cardiac event are not separate findings. They are different time-stamped expressions of the same dynamic living whole person. Early signs reflect depletion and loss of vertical coordination. The later event reflects collapse under load. So when people ask, is Frank's sign a warning sign of heart disease? My answer is this: it is not a heart diagnosis. It is a visual trace of a long-standing kidney-centered disequilibrium, which over time compromises heart-kidney vertical coordination. The correct approach is not immediately fixate on the heart, but to assess kidney in, kidney essence, and whether vertical regulation is still intact. The real issue is not predicting catastrophe, but recognizing long-term disequilibrium early enough that the system never reaches a breaking point.